Julian, it's good to have you back. I'm excited about this. I want to ask you all about difficult sites. What challenges have you had?
Okay. One recent difficult site, if you like, was the Champagne Bar on St Pancras Station. It's run by Searcy's.
Okay.
They were coming up to the end of their initial 10-year lease, and with that, as part of the lease agreements, it was up for refurbishment renewal. Now, St Pancras Station is obviously Grade 1 listed. We're on what's effectively old platform space. It's approximately 60 metres long in space by the width of a platform. And then we had a central bar space that went with that. We're part of HS1 for approvals, as well as our operating sort of client in terms of CSS. So what we had to do was work through that space, and from the Network Rail restrictions in terms of working times and working arrangements, with what is effectively a live wire running over the top of our bar space where we want to put a new canopy up. So there's some complexities in terms of what we're doing and how we're working. But again, we were contract administrators, project managers, and quantity surveyors for this job. Really pleased with the outcome of it at the end of it. There's some great photos I keep seeing in trade press, and the feedback that I'm reading. The CSs are very much a class operation, and their operations are will treat you to a very high standard, but the product that went with that again is a high standard. Had some challenges along the way in terms of.
Tell us about those.
Well, what we've got is things like the seating. We changed the locations of the seating. Still, everything still needed to be controlled, if you like, from the bar area. I don't know if you know this, but one of the sort of CS's trademarks, if you like, on that site was the idea that you press for champagne and you press the button, and then they'd turn up with a bottle of champagne for you. So
Fabulous.
We're trying to incorporate that still in the new design, but how do we do that in a modern way? How do we do that in a way that we can still move forwards in terms of what we've got? We're looking at individual space AV requirements and how that level of interaction might be. We're also looking at restricted timescales. Obviously there's the sort of summer holiday period, there's the pre-Christmas rush, if you like, because a lot of these travellers that are going to be using this facility are actually travelling to France and Belgium and places like that on the Eurostar. So we had to sort of work within a very much a restricted timescale with very sort of complex, but the setting out of everything had to be very much sort of set before we'd even started. For the manufacturing time, because joinery manufacturing times post-COVID is probably doubled,
right?
And with that, different timescales, which at the end of the day we were happy once we'd actually got that finished product.
I mean, it looks fabulous. The images that I've seen and the things that you've shared, it looks tremendous. But you just gave me like chills when you said there's live wires above you and your guys have got to work in there, and then those restricted times. I mean, how do you guys cope with that?
It's following Network Rail requirements. So principally we can't have anything within just over 2 meters of that live wire. So that's temporary plant or permanent.
Right. Okay. And how did you deal with that? Would you have to change design or structure, or was it already focused in at the planning stage?
We had to just work out our working methods of how we actually installed our stuff. One area of our canopy is quite tight to that. But working with our contractors and through our in-house CDM, we work through that working method, and it's not ladders, it's platforms. It's, working out of hours and protective sort of measures that went through it.
And how long did a job like that take you to do? Bear in mind, you got restricted times to do it in.
On site, it was restricted, but as an overall job, that was over a year's worth of work.
Right. Okay.
Actually, on site, we're talking sort of 3-4 months.
Okay. So a year's worth of work into 3 or 4 months, practically a practical application. And what does it look like behind the scenes to just to get that out? Because I mean, you look at it, it's like that is spectacular.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a big design aspect to this and coordination aspect of that design coming through. So it's bringing through the interior designer's design concept. It's bringing through the contractors and specialist joiners rod drawings. It's integrating that with the AV. It's integrating that with the electrics. It's integrating that with the plumbing in terms of the bar.
Okay.
And that sort of thing. Yes, they already had those aspects there, but it's, have we got them in the right places? Have we got the waste and water in the right places? And in terms of, can I run a cable 30 meters up this underneath what was a platform, if you like, with terrazzo flooring covering it all? No trip hazards. I've got to work with elements of the train station's requirements in terms of visuals while we're working as well.
Right.
So hoardings and types of hoardings that are allowed there as well.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of restrictions, if you like, but we worked together as a team to bring that all through.
And these are a lot of things that Joe Public or even newbies to this industry won't even consider, won't even think about. And that's, I think you've highlighted the thing there. For me was as a team, you knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, it's got to be as a team.
Yeah,
it's as a team. We've got a knowledge that we can apply, but it's applied as a team.
Gotcha. So have you got any more jobs like that coming up, or is that something you want to get more of or more into?
There's nothing directly coming up. If there is something else on a train station,
Julian's your man.
We're there. We're there for it. We've worked on the train stations in various guises. Historically, we put all the pod cafe units in for Cafe Nero around the London stations.
Right. Okay.
There were some challenges there with those in terms of electrical supplies and water supplies and that sort of thing. We've worked up in it on Edinburgh Station, putting a coffee shop in up there. I would greatly appreciate, coffee shops on railway stations is something we'd like to do more of.
You're an expert in that. And the best way to get in contact with you, Julian?
Usual way. Best way is always email. Julian at jca-ltd.co.uk. I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Awesome. Julian, it's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you.